What's going on, everyone? Alex Miller here from the Eagle, joined by Travis Brown. We're inside Kyle Field after Texas A&M's weekly press conference. Jimbo Fisher, big news of the day, doubling down that he ain't leaving Texas A&M. He's not going to LSU amid the Tigers coaching search. Here's what Jimbo had to say about staying at A&M.
Yeah, I'm staying here, and I've told everybody I plan on being the coach at A&M. All right. And everybody thinks all coaches lie. I know y'all don't believe us. All right. That's why we don't trust y'all. Okay. So we're even. Okay. Whatever we say, nothing's off the record. Okay. To you, it's off the record. No, it ain't off the record. You didn't say that. All right. But I'm joking. But we're gonna recruit maybe as good a class. Here's a bet. Because I said the other things. I plan on being. I love the AD. I love the president. I love the chancellor. I love living here. I love being at my ranch. I love the family loves it here. I love Kyle Field. I love the people. I love all that stuff, and that's obviously not good enough. And I get it. I'm not mad at you. I'm seriously. I read the reports and people come to me. I say, I don't want to hear. I'm not interested. We may recruit number one. We're going to recruit an unbelievable class this year. Okay, so I'm either the dumbest human being on God's earth. Okay, who's going to recruit all these guys to A&M so I can go across over here and go play against them. Okay, if I did that, you ought to say that's the dumbest human being. I don't want him to be my coach. Okay. Guys, we're going to recruit a heck of a class. We're going to have special things here. We're building special things. They're investing in the program. They're investing in everything we got. We're building a culture. We're not where we are. And that was a disappointing thing about Saturday for me. That we didn't take a step in some of the things I thought we really should have. And it wasn't because I want to. It's kind of out. And I got to do a better job explaining to our players to get them to do it. But I want to be at A&M. I plan on being at A&M. I ain't going nowhere. I don't want to be nowhere else. I love being right here. Is that clean enough?
Well, since you asked.
Oh no! You asked your question. Somebody, and I'm either the dumbest human being in the world to recruit all these guys. And there's good news. I mean, we got a lot of good stuff coming in the future here. Okay.
And last time you said ranches.
Well, I've counted the one in West Virginia.
There you go. Okay.
I got my original home farm that I grew up on in West Virginia. I bought a few acres around it to help expand where we have cows.
Very cool.
Okay, so I did that. I just clarify, I don't have two ranches here. I got one. Okay, I got one in West Virginia. Okay, which was part of an old farm, added on to that my mom still lives on. It's a home place my brother is.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Coach, we'll go back behind the lines tonight.
Is that good enough?
I reckon.
Oh, see? I say what? You know what? You don't trust me. We're liars, so I don't trust you. All right, we're even. Now,
Right.
Well, Travis, Jimbo doubling down that he ain't leaving A&M. Pretty emphatic answer, too. You know, what'd you kind of make from what he had to say and just kind of what it means for the Aggies with their coach making sure he's not leaving?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit an answer with a little bit more bite this time. Last time it was just, I like the chancellor, I like the AD. It's kind of the same thing that coaches say. You don't necessarily hear a coach come in and talk about the recruiting class that they have next year. They could very well have a top 3, if not number 1 recruiting class next year when you look at Walter Nolan coming in, Connor Wigman, the quarterback, the number 1 recruit from the country of Sweden, Theodore Melanostrom, tight end, Donovan Green. Just a lot of guys coming in that is going to make this a haul of a recruiting class. And he said, why would he go on the other side of Sabine to go against that every 4 years? It doesn't make sense. It's just an answer that had a little bit something more, and I think something that A&M fans were wanting to hear. And then for me, it always went back to when I did that story on Marty and McGee doing their commercial down here on his property, that he was so excited to get those guys on his gator and drive them around and show them the sunrise and all the land and how happy he was about it. And he talks to, we'll have a Q&A coming up this week with Edrin Cooper, who's a big hunter. And Jimbo said he's going to have him out on his land to go hunting with him. And just, yeah, you can have that land and live in LSU, but I think there's so much that is so Jimbo about this area and so much that he's planted his roots here so well that it just didn't seem very likely that was going to happen. And I think he made some pretty good arguments that are beyond just the normal coach speaky arguments that you'll hear from coaches when a coaching search is raised.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Jimbo's going to be asked again. He definitely said, is this answer good enough for you? But, kind of looking back, there was a lot of talk, obviously, about A&M's loss to Ole Miss. And just one of the things that really stuck out was the Damon Demas drop, the interception that Ole Miss had. That was a key turning point there in that fourth quarter. And just kind of played into a little bit of the ongoing trouble that Jimbo seemed to have with officiating, too.
Yeah, when you go into a situation like that really turned the game, and especially when it comes to an interception, there's always the blame game. Whose fault was it? The first thing that anyone wants to know about an interception is whose fault was it. And I think Jimbo kind of came to the idea or the understanding that it was both players' fault. It was Demus's fault because it hit him in the hands. He should have caught it, hit him in the hands, but also Zach Calzada should have brought it a little bit lower to where we didn't have to go up and jump for it. And so that was a big game-changing play. Also, the one where Devon Demas dropped it in the end zone, I believe a drive before that could have given the A&M the lead. Another big turnaround play in the game. But that goes back into several weeks now with Jimbo Fisher having some issues with the officiating because he thought that both players came down with the ball at the same time, and by rule, that would be the offensive player's ball. I don't know if I necessarily saw it that way, but he wanted to go into just the kind of inconsistencies a little bit more. You know, a couple weeks ago, it was about the disconcerting signals that were called against A&M at Alabama, and then were not called against Auburn here at Kyle Field. Ole Miss did get called with one of those, but then you want to talk about other inconsistencies about when the chain game would come out to measure the ball, and when A&M went against A&M one way, they did come out and bring it out and measure the fake punt, which was a little bit weird. And then when they tried to flag A&M for illegal substitution, but Ole Miss had substituted, but then they didn't let them go back and set up their defense on that play when they waved off the flag. So a lot of inconsistencies, a little bit interesting to see, about as critical as you can hear a head coach talking about officiating without, getting full on into fine territory. Curious what you thought about some of that officiating banter as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been a talking point the last few weeks. I thought it was interesting how Ole Miss did get flagged for the disconcerting signals, especially after Jimbo, really last week was showing visibly with his hands the frustration he had that Auburn didn't get called for it. I was walking down the tunnel when the interception happened with Devon Demas, so I actually didn't see it. I watched a replay of it, but the clip wasn't long enough to tell, for me at least, what exactly happened when the two guys came up with it. But yeah, officiating is it's a judgment call. That's they're human, and Jimbo said it. He's not necessarily blaming the officials, but he didn't really have a good answer on what's the solution or what's the fix to it. But it's definitely something that week after week it seems he has had frustration about, and at times has hurt A&M potentially in his eyes. And the Aggies obviously came away with wins over Alabama and Auburn, but was not the case against Ole Miss.
And interesting, he did say as he was walking off, he hasn't heard back from the SEC on some of those plays he sent in to get explanations for. So,
well, that's going to do it for us today. Be sure to check theeagle.com for all of our coverage leading up to A&M's game this Saturday against Prairie View A&M. And be sure to tune in, hopefully, to the My Aggie Nation podcast this week. We'll be talking more Aggie football. For Travis Brown, I'm Alex Miller. Thanks. We'll see you next time.